She is so ugly!
She should be a nun. Unbelievable.
Look at my big nose. Look at my hair. Look at my teeth. I look so ugly. I must become beautiful.
Have you ever looked in the mirror and wished you looked like somebody else? What would you do if everyone around you kept reminding you that you weren't beautiful enough? Would you change your face? Would you change your body? Or would you change your entire life? Today's story is about a university girl named Precious who became so desperate to be beautiful that she was willing to risk everything for it. But the truth she eventually discovered changed her life forever. Watch till the end, because this story carries a powerful lesson about beauty, insecurity, self-worth, and the dangerous things people do to gain acceptance.
This is the Circle of African Tales, where African wisdom lives, and every story has a lesson.
There were many beautiful girls at Crown Heights University, the kind that made people stop walking, the kind that collected compliments before breakfast, the kind that posted one picture and woke up to 3,000 likes. Then there was Precious. Nobody stopped working for Precious. Nobody fought to sit beside her. Nobody argued over who would be her partner during presentations. Nobody waited outside class hoping to walk her home. In fact, most people barely noticed she existed. And when they did notice her, it was usually for the wrong reason. One afternoon, Precious entered the lecture hall and heard laughter coming from the back. At first, she ignored it. Then she heard her name. "See, Precious," another student laughed. "I still don't understand why she doesn't just become a nun." The entire row burst into laughter. Precious pretended not to hear. She had become an expert at pretending. Pretending comments didn't hurt. Pretending jokes didn't matter. Pretending she was okay. But every joke left a mark. Every laugh followed her home. Every whisper stayed inside her head long after everybody else had forgotten it. The worst part was that she wasn't a bad person. She was intelligent. She was kind. She was respectful. She was one of the most hardworking students in her department. But nobody seemed to care about any of that. Beauty always arrived before character. Beauty entered the room first. Beauty got attention first. Beauty got opportunities first. And Precious was tired of watching it happen. One Friday afternoon, she sat alone at a campus cafe while several girls from her department occupied a nearby table. They were discussing a birthday party. One of them looked around. "Let's invite Sandra." Another nodded. "Invite Jennifer too." "What about Chioma?" "Of course." Then someone asked, "What about Precious?" The table became quiet. One girl forced a smile. "Forget her, I beg." The conversation immediately moved on. Precious looked down at her drink. Nobody knew she had heard everything. By the time she got back to her hostel that evening, she locked the door and stood in front of her mirror. She stared at herself, long, silent, carefully. Then she started pointing out everything she hated. My nose, my face, my skin, my cheeks, my smile. Everything suddenly felt wrong. Everything suddenly felt ugly. That night, she opened TikTok. Big mistake. The first video showed a beautiful influencer. The second showed a beauty transformation. The third showed a couple vacationing in Dubai. The fourth showed another influencer advertising skincare products. The fifth showed a beauty contest winner receiving flowers. Precious kept scrolling. The more she watched, the worse she felt. Everybody seemed beautiful. Everybody seemed loved. Everybody seemed happy. Everybody except her. By midnight, she had added 7 beauty products to her online cart. By 1 a.m., she was watching videos titled "How to Become More Attractive," "Glow Up in 30 Days," "Beauty Secrets Nobody Talks About," "How to Get Any Man to Notice You." By 2 a.m., she was crying. The next morning, she woke up with one mission: change everything. The transformation began immediately. New skincare routine, new creams, new soaps, new face masks, new beauty influencers, new tutorials, new recommendations. Every week she spent more money. Money she should have been saving. Money she should have been using for school. Money she didn't really have. Whenever something failed, she bought something else. Whenever a product didn't work, another influencer promised a better one. The cycle never ended. Weeks passed. Nothing changed. At least, not enough. The girls who got attention were still getting attention. The girls with boyfriends still had boyfriends. The girls with thousands of followers were still collecting more followers. Meanwhile, Precious remained Precious. One afternoon, something happened that pushed her over the edge. A handsome final year student walked into a faculty event. Immediately, girls started adjusting their hair, straightening their clothes, smiling, positioning themselves strategically. The young man greeted a few people before eventually walking toward a group of beautiful girls. For almost 30 minutes, he remained there laughing and chatting. He never looked in Precious's direction once. Not once. That night, Precious cried again. But this time, something was different. The sadness was slowly becoming determination. Dangerous determination. The kind that makes people do things they normally wouldn't do. A few days later, the university announced preparations for its biggest annual event, Miss Campus Queen. The entire campus exploded. Everybody was talking about it. Beauty queens, models, popular influencers, fashion brands, sponsors, cash prizes. The winner would become one of the most recognized students on campus. Almost immediately, the names started flying around. Sandra will win. No, Jennifer will win. What about Chioma? Or Anita? Nobody mentioned Precious, not even as a joke. Then something unexpected happened. During lunch break, Precious quietly told two classmates she was thinking about participating. The reaction was immediate. One girl nearly choked on her drink. The other laughed so hard she attracted attention from nearby tables. You? More laughter. Miss Campus Queen? Another student joined. Maybe they need judges. The laughter spread. Precious pretended not to hear. For the rest of the day, those words kept repeating inside her head. Maybe they need judges. Maybe they need judges. Maybe they need judges. That night, she sat alone in her hostel room. The room was dark. Her phone screen illuminated her face. She opened the competition website, read the requirements, read them again and again. Her heart raced. Part of her wanted to close the page. Part of her wanted to run away. Part of her wanted to accept what everyone else believed. But another part was tired. Tired of hiding. Tired of feeling less than everybody else. Tired of being the joke. Slowly, she filled out the application form. Name, department, level, contact information, everything. When she reached the final button, she hesitated. One click. That was all it would take. One click. Precious stared at the screen. Then she pressed submit. The application was sent. For the first time in a long time, she felt something strange. Not happiness, not confidence, not excitement. Hope. Tiny, fragile, dangerous hope. Because from that moment forward, Precious stopped wishing she was beautiful. She became determined to become beautiful, and that decision was about to change her life completely. The day after Precious submitted her application for Miss Campus Queen, she woke up feeling different. Not beautiful, not confident, just determined. For the first time in her life, she had a mission. If beauty opened doors, then she would learn everything about beauty. Nothing would stop her. The transformation project began immediately. Her hostel room slowly turned into a beauty laboratory. Creams, face masks, hair products, fashion pages, makeup tutorials, beauty influencers, skincare routines, everything. Every evening, she sat in front of her phone, taking notes like a student preparing for exams. Her roommates found it hilarious. One evening, her roommate Esther walked in and nearly screamed, "Precious, what is this green thing on your face?" "It's avocado mask. Yesterday it was yellow. That one was turmeric. The day before, coffee scrub." Esther laughed so hard she almost fell from the bed. At this rate, you will soon start rubbing jollof rice on your face. Even Precious laughed for a moment. Then she returned to her mirror, because beneath the laughter was desperation. Weeks passed. Something started changing. Not dramatically, but enough. Her skin improved, her dressing improved, her confidence improved slightly. People started noticing. Not everyone, but some people. And to Precious, even small attention felt like a miracle. Then one evening, while scrolling through social media, a message appeared. Unknown sender. His name was David. His profile picture showed a handsome young man. Tall, stylish, perfect smile. The kind of man girls usually posted on their status with heart emojis. His first message was simple. Hi. Precious almost ignored it. Almost. But something made her reply. And that tiny decision changed everything. The conversation flowed effortlessly. Unlike most people, David actually seemed interested in her. Not her appearance, her thoughts, her opinions, her dreams. For the first time in years, someone wanted to know Precious. Not laugh at her, not judge her, not avoid her, know her. The feeling was addictive. Every morning started with his messages. Every night ended with his voice. Soon, they moved from texting to voice notes, then phone calls, then long conversations that lasted until midnight, sometimes until 2 a.m., sometimes until sunrise. David made her laugh. He listened. He encouraged her. He remembered small details. The more they talked, the more Precious fell in love. By the 3rd month, she was completely gone. Mentally, emotionally, spiritually, gone. One afternoon, Esther caught her smiling at her phone. David again? Precious smiled. Maybe. Esther rolled her eyes. Maybe. You people talk more than married couples. Precious laughed. But inside, she was already imagining the future. A relationship, a wedding, children, a happily ever after. Her imagination had traveled far beyond reality. Then a problem appeared. David kept asking for more pictures. Not ordinary pictures, better pictures, different angles, more selfies. At first, Precious sent normal photos. Then she noticed something. The more polished the photo looked, the more excited David became. The more edited the photo looked, the more compliments arrived. So she downloaded filters, then beauty apps, then editing tools. A little adjustment here, a little adjustment there. Smaller nose, clearer skin, smoother face, sharper jawline, brighter eyes. Nothing too obvious, at least that's what she told herself. Soon, the online version of Precious became different from the real one. Not completely fake, just improved, enhanced, perfected. Months passed. Then one evening, David said something that made her heart stop. We should finally meet. The room suddenly felt hot. Precious sat upright. Meet? In person? Reality had arrived. She tried delaying. David insisted. She suggested later. David insisted again. Eventually, a date was chosen. A Saturday afternoon at a popular cafe near campus. The entire week felt like torture. Precious barely slept. She changed outfits 10 times, changed hairstyles, changed makeup ideas, changed shoes, changed handbags. Nothing felt good enough. Saturday arrived. Her stomach felt like it was carrying 50 butterflies. The cafe was beautiful. Soft music, students everywhere, couples laughing, perfect location. Then David arrived. The moment Precious saw him, she smiled. The moment David saw her, something changed. Tiny, almost invisible, but she noticed it immediately. The excitement on his face disappeared. Not completely, just enough. The energy changed. The conversation became awkward. The jokes didn't land. The chemistry vanished. The magic that existed online refused to appear in real life. For nearly 2 hours, they forced conversations, forced smiles, forced laughter. Everything felt uncomfortable. By the time they left, Precious already knew. Something had gone wrong. 3 days later, David stopped calling. 5 days later, the messages became shorter. 1 week later, he stopped replying. 2 weeks later, he disappeared completely. No explanation, no goodbye, nothing, just silence. The realization crushed her. The boy she loved had never truly seen her. He had fallen in love with edited photos, filters, angles, a version of her that didn't exist. For days, Precious barely left her room. The heartbreak felt unbearable. But life wasn't finished with her, because while her love life was collapsing, another battle was beginning. Miss Campus Queen auditions. Contestants from across the university gathered. Models, influencers, fashion girls, popular students, girls with thousands of followers, girls that looked like they had stepped out of magazines. Precious almost turned back, almost. Then she remembered every joke, every laugh, every insult, every rejection, and she kept walking. The auditions were intense. Questions, interviews, public speaking, confidence tests, fashion assessments, everything. When the session ended, contestants waited nervously for results. One by one, names were announced. Popular names, expected names, beautiful names. Then, suddenly, Precious Okafor. The hall suddenly went silent. Several contestants turned around. One girl actually checked the list twice. Precious froze. Had they called her name? They had. She qualified. She had made it into the next round. For the first time since David disappeared, she smiled. A real smile. Not because she felt beautiful, not because she felt confident, but because for once, someone had looked beyond her face.
Qualifying for the next round of Miss Campus Queen changed everything. For the first time in her life, people were talking about Precious. Not everyone, not positively, but they were talking, and strangely enough, it felt good. At first, the competition became one of the biggest conversations on campus. Students debated contestants, posted predictions, shared photos, created rankings. Everyone had opinions, especially online. One evening, Precious made the mistake of reading the comment section beneath a contestant spotlight post. She found her name immediately. The first comment said, "How did she qualify?" Another said, "Maybe the judges made a mistake." Another person wrote, "This competition is supposed to be beauty, not charity." The comments kept coming. Some were funny, some were cruel, some were simply evil. Precious closed the app, then opened it again, then closed it, then opened it again. The comments lived inside her head. Every day, new contestants appeared online. Models, influencers, girls with massive followings, girls who seemed born for beauty competitions. Some arrived at events looking like celebrities. Luxury dresses, professional photo shoots, brand partnerships. Meanwhile, Precious was still trying to figure out her life. The gap felt enormous. Soon, the competition stopped feeling exciting. It became exhausting. Every contestant seemed prettier, more confident, more polished. One afternoon, after a photo shoot session organized by the competition sponsors, Precious found herself sitting alone, scrolling, comparing, scrolling again, comparing again. Then, she stumbled upon a video, a transformation video. The difference shocked her. Before, after. Two completely different faces. The comments were filled with praise. "Best decision ever. You look amazing. Worth every penny." Another video appeared, then another, then another. Soon her entire feed became filled with beauty clinics, cosmetic procedures, enhancements, transformations, perfect noses, sharper jawlines, flawless skin. Everything looked magical. Everything looked easy. Everything looked like a shortcut. For the first time, surgery stopped feeling impossible. It started feeling reasonable. The idea settled inside her mind quietly, dangerously. Weeks later, she began researching. At first, she only watched videos. Then she started reading reviews. Then she started following clinics. Soon she was comparing prices, watching testimonials, reading recovery stories, saving screenshots, saving contact numbers, saving dreams. Every night, she imagined a different version of herself, a prettier version, a version nobody would laugh at, a version David would never have ignored, a version social media would celebrate, a version finally belonged. The obsession grew stronger. Without realizing it, Precious started saving money. Every little amount, every extra allowance, every opportunity. Nobody knew, not her roommates, not her friends, nobody. The secret remained hidden. Then, something unexpected happened. The competition organizers announced a special mentorship session. A former beauty queen would be spending an entire day with contestants. Campus excitement exploded. Everyone knew her name. Former pageant winner, successful entrepreneur, social media celebrity, fashion icon. She was everything the contestants admired. The day she arrived, cameras followed her everywhere. Students took pictures, contestants rushed to greet her. Even Precious felt starstruck. The woman was stunning, elegant, confident, graceful. The type of beauty that seemed effortless. The type of beauty Precious dreamed about. Throughout the session, she shared advice. Confidence, presentation, branding, public image, everything. The contestants listened carefully. But later that afternoon, something strange happened. During a break, Precious accidentally found herself alone with the beauty queen backstage. The beauty queen noticed her immediately. "You've been very quiet today." Precious laughed. "Maybe I'm just nervous." The woman smiled. "Nervous about the competition?" "Partly. What else?" The question caught Precious off guard. For some reason, she answered honestly, "I'm tired of feeling unattractive." The beauty queen stared at her for a moment, then she laughed. Not mockingly, almost sadly. "Do you know something funny?" "What?" "I spent most of my life feeling unattractive too." Precious blinked. Surely she was joking. The woman continued. "Even after winning pageants, even after magazine covers, even after millions of followers." Precious frowned. "How?" The beauty queen sighed. Then she began talking. Not as a celebrity, not as a winner, just as a human being. She spoke about pressure. Constant pressure. Pressure to remain beautiful. Pressure to remain young. Pressure to stay relevant. Pressure to stay perfect. She spoke about depression, anxiety, loneliness, fear. Fear of wrinkles, fear of aging, fear of losing attention, fear of becoming ordinary. Then she said something that stayed with Precious. "People think beauty gives freedom." She smiled. "Sometimes beauty becomes another prison." For the first time, Precious saw something she had never noticed before. The woman looked tired. Not physically, emotionally. As if she had spent years carrying invisible weight. The conversation ended shortly afterward, but the words refused to leave Precious's mind. Beauty becomes another prison. For days she thought about it. But before she could truly process everything, the competition reached its final stage. Finalists gathered, students packed the venue, social media pages streamed updates. The atmosphere felt electric. Everyone waited, everyone hoped, everyone dreamed, especially Precious. When the final results were announced, time seemed to slow down. 3rd place, not Precious. 2nd place, not Precious. Winner,
not Precious. Just like that, it was over. Months of effort, months of pressure, months of dreams gone. The applause echoed throughout the hall. The winner cried, students celebrated, photos flashed. Meanwhile, Precious sat quietly, not angry, not shocked, just empty. That night, she returned to her hostel room, removed her shoes, dropped onto her bed and stared at the ceiling. Then her phone buzzed. One notification, unknown number. She opened it. The message came from a cosmetic clinic. Her heart stopped. Months ago, during one of her late-night research sessions, she had secretly booked a consultation. Back when surgery felt like the answer to everything. Now, the clinic had finally responded. The message was short. Dear Precious, your procedure consultation has been scheduled. Appointment date confirmed. Below the message was a date. 2 weeks away. Precious stared at the screen. The room suddenly felt smaller because for the first time, the decision was no longer a fantasy. It was real, and she had no idea what she was going to do.
The appointment day arrived. For months, Precious had imagined this moment. The clinic had confirmed everything. The money was ready, the paperwork was ready, the consultation was complete, the procedure could happen that very day. For months, she had believed this was the answer. The answer to the laughter, the answer to the rejection, the answer to David, the answer to social media, the answer to every insecurity she had ever carried. Yet, as she sat inside the waiting area, something felt wrong, very wrong. People moved around her. Receptionists, nurses, doctors, patients, everything was happening exactly as planned. But Precious could not stop thinking. She remembered the former beauty queen. She remembered the sadness hidden behind the woman's smile. She remembered the words that refused to leave her mind. Sometimes, beauty becomes another prison. Then David came to mind. For months, she had blamed herself, blamed her face, blamed her appearance, blamed everything. But suddenly, a different question appeared. If David truly cared for her, why had he disappeared because of looks? Maybe losing him wasn't a tragedy. Maybe it was information. Then another thought arrived. How many decisions had she made because of other people's opinions? The creams, the products, the tutorials, the endless comparisons, the tears, the competition, the surgery. Almost everything had been controlled by people who were not even living her life. That realization hit harder than anything else. Suddenly, Precious saw the truth. She had spent years asking strangers to decide her value, and strangers were terrible judges. The nurse eventually called her name. Precious? She stood up, walked halfway toward the consultation room, then stopped. The nurse looked confused. Are you coming? Precious smiled. No. The nurse blinked. No? I changed my mind. Just like that. Months of obsession ended in a single sentence. For the first time in years, Precious chose herself. Not social media, not trends, not public opinion. Herself. The journey home felt different. Nothing about her face had changed. Nothing about her appearance had changed. Yet somehow, everything felt lighter because she no longer had a war to fight. At least, not that war. A new chapter began. Instead of changing her face, Precious decided to change her future. She started focusing on things she had ignored. Her studies, her confidence, her communication skills, her public speaking, her leadership abilities, her talents, her goals, her purpose. The transformation was slow, much slower than surgery, much slower than beauty products, but it was real. She joined student organizations, participated in projects, attended seminars, volunteered for leadership positions. She began speaking up during lectures. Something surprising happened. People started noticing her, not because she looked different, but because she carried herself differently. Confidence has a strange effect on people. The same students who barely noticed her before suddenly started paying attention. Lecturers remembered her name, students sought her advice, classmates respected her opinions. People who once laughed at her now greeted her first.
One afternoon, Esther stared at her and laughed. What? Esther shook her head. You know what's funny? What? Nothing about your face changed. Precious laughed. I know. But somehow you look completely different. That was the funny part. The thing Precious had spent years chasing wasn't beauty. It was confidence. And confidence had finally arrived. Without surgery, without magic, without becoming somebody else. Final year arrived. Then graduation season arrived. The university auditorium was packed. Parents, lecturers, students, friends, families, everybody celebrating. Precious sat among the graduating students wearing her gown. Years earlier, she had dreamed of becoming the prettiest girl on campus. Now she barely thought about it because life had given her something better: purpose, achievement, respect. When her name was called during an academic excellence recognition, the hall erupted in applause. Not because she was beautiful, not because she had followers, not because she had won a pageant, because she had earned it. Her mother cried, her lecturers smiled, her classmates cheered, and for the first time, Precious felt truly seen. Years later, life continued moving forward. She built a successful career, created opportunities for herself, built meaningful relationships, found genuine happiness. One evening, while cleaning old files on her laptop, she stumbled upon photographs from university. Photos from the beauty obsession era, photos from the competition, photos from her insecure days. She stared at them for a long time. Then she smiled. Not because she had become prettier, not because she had become perfect, but because she finally understood something she wished she had known years earlier. The problem had never been her face. The problem was allowing other people to decide her worth. And once she stopped doing that, everything changed. The greatest transformation of her life had nothing to do with beauty. It happened inside. Because a beautiful face may attract attention, but a strong mind, good character, confidence, and purpose can change an entire life. If you are Precious, would you have gone through with the surgery? Do you think social media makes people compare themselves too much? Have you ever wanted to change something about yourself because of other people's opinions? And what do you believe matters more in the long run, appearance or purpose?
Every story carries a lesson, and if this one touched you in any way, let it guide your heart and inspire your journey. I hope you enjoyed this African folktale. If you did, please subscribe to this channel for more amazing, life-changing stories. Don't forget to like, share, and drop a comment. And if you want more, the next story is already waiting for you on your screen. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you. See you in the next video.